Revision question on retail types, learning objective 1. The scenario. Mappington is a busy town with a population of around 10,000 people. The town's high street has a mixture of retail businesses, including franchises, charities, food outlets and some long-established shops, such as grocers, bakers and butchers. During the last few years, the footfall for the high street has declined, and some shops have closed down. Temporary shops like pop-up shops have sometimes rented the empty shops. The town has a very active retailers association which supports the town's retail businesses. Now there's a page in the video on the PowerPoint, whichever way you're doing it, on the scenario, because you do need to pay attention to the scenario, because when you start writing the questions you have to put it in the context of this scenario. So that's why we have a focus on it at the moment for revision. The 4-mark question. Explain the following types of retail business: franchise and a temporary shop, the pop-up shop. Well, as this is a revision question, the good news is then there's lots of structure going to come into this video to show you how we can put the question together. So first of all, here is a tip from the exam board about how to approach 4-mark questions. And as you can see, there's 1 mark for a basic explanation. So if you make a statement about one of the retail types, a franchise is, a temporary shop is, that will give you 1 mark. But if you go in with some detail, a franchise, and actually name, say, 2 to 3 features of a franchise, 2 to 3 features of a temporary shop, then that's where you get to the clear explanation, and that's when you're earning the extra marks per retail type. So remember the tip: a simple statement gives you the 1 mark, an extended sentence and aim for 2 to 3 gives you the additional 2 marks, which you need to do for both types of retail forms that you've been asked in the question. And if you feel like you need some revision to recap on the details for these 2 retail types, then feel free to go to the revision lesson. As you can see, it's on the BusyPods link below. So retail types, what are they? We've got shops, online, multi-channel, hybrid, pop-up shops, concessions, market stalls and franchise. So those are all the icons from Learning Objective 1.1 to remind you of what they are. However, let's not forget that as this is a revision question, then we do have some help. So we need to look at the structure of how we put your response together for this exam question. Right, well, we only want to talk about pop-up shops and franchises, so let's get rid of the rest of them. Well, let's deal with the basic explanations of the franchise and the top-up shop. If you were to say a franchise is part of a two-way relationship, the franchisee who buys the right from the franchisor to copy the business format, that's fine. That gives you the basic explanation. And if you were to say a temporary or pop-up shop is usually there in a premises between 1 day or 3 months, but not longer, you've got 2 basic explanations. You've got a point each per type of retail. Let's see how far we need to take it though in order to get the extra 2 points so that we can achieve that clear explanation. For the franchise, if you were to add that a proportion of the profits are paid to the franchisor, that would be fantastic. If you could add that that was a royalty fee, brilliant. If you can add it that it's the franchisor who is the one that sells the right to use their business idea and their brand to the franchisee, and they allow their brand to be in any particular location depending on where the franchisee is, that would absolutely nail it. That would get you your 2 points because you have developed and given a clear explanation on franchise. To add the clear explanation then for top-up shops to develop the question, then we would need to add things like the location of pop-up shops, usually in high foot traffic areas such as city centres or shopping centres or busy streets, because that's where the empty properties are, and they are top-up shops are encouraged to go in there. The prices of the products are usually lower than traditional stores, and you see them selling their products mainly during holidays or events, or sometimes it is to launch new products, generate awareness of the products they've got in there. In order to move stock, how many times do we see pop-up shops about buy it while it's there? Testing ideas, all these things. And a pop-up shop obviously encourages the curiosity. Could be cool from a customer's point of view in order to go and shop there. All of these will show that you are developing the top-up shop. Definition. Well, for clear explanations, we always need to dip into some connectives. Here's the usual supply of the high value connectives, but just remember we're looking at definitions and providing a clear explanation. So where we say things like a franchisee is, then you really are going to use things like which is, who works with them. We're not going to have much demand for the high value ones. We've just got to make sure we add lots and lots of detail for these responses. Nevertheless, the connectors are there for you to use. So now we've been through all the help and the structure of how to put the response together. It's now over to you to put your full mark extended responses together on the definitions of franchise and temporary shops, making sure you've built on the basic statement and gone up to the clear explanation. Well done, you've completed your response to the 4-mark question, and hopefully you have built on the basic statements, you have identified the definitions, and you have developed your sentences with a clear explanation, and you can see that we are looking at similar skills to the last question.